Hi, thanks for joining me for another video today. I want to do something a little bit special because recently my channel accumulated over 500 subs, which is really awesome considering I never really intended this channel to go anywhere. Anyway, it was just literally a dumping ground for me to share things that I enjoyed doing. But I want to say a really massive thank you to everybody who has subscribed to me and to all the people who have left me comments and positive feedback. It really makes me feel like I'm going in the right direction with the channel. So thank you guys so much. So I wanted to actually mark this little occasion with something a little bit different. So instead of my usual affair of doing sim racing and driving around, I'm not going to use the wheel today. Instead, I'm going to use this. Stay tuned. Okay, so you might be familiar with what you're seeing right now, as it's the artwork that's on my channel. And I drew this around about 4 years ago when my channel started becoming more consistent with the content. Basically, I got a VR headset and decided to start making a load of VR content, and I haven't stopped doing anything different. But what has changed is the type of content that I make. So back then I was playing a lot of standy up, wave your arms around, bash the light bulbs off the ceiling type of games because they were novelty at the time when VR first emerged. And that sort of stuff is depicted here. So over on the far left we've got elements of Serious Sam, and we got a bit of Vertigo, which was a game I thoroughly enjoyed playing. Then we got a big chunk of Elite Dangerous, and over on the far right there's that mad as hell Accounting, which came from the warped brains of the guys who made us Rick and Morty, which is awesome. But these are novelty games with the exception of Elite Dangerous. They're all sort of novelties that I won't go back to, and it's not really representative of what I do on the channel anymore. As again, the exception being Elite Dangerous. I do still dip in and out of that, and it's kind of a space sim anyway. But speaking of sims, that's the way it's gone. So I'm far more into sim racing. I like a bit of flight sims and space sims and things like that. I tend to spend a lot of the time just sitting in the rig now and just playing stuff. So that's the direction that the channel has gone in, and I am going to redraw the artwork now and try to represent that direction. So if you've got 10 minutes, stay tuned, and here comes a time lapse. Oh, also, I'm just going to carry on talking. So this is a blocking phase. It's like a construction phase. I just go through it and draw in really rough what I want to do. And I've already decided on the layout. I sketched it out on a load of paper beforehand, and I'm not going to bore you with that. But this is kind of where it is. So I decided to put in a couple of sort of GT and LMP cars, and a couple of Spitfires because I like those, and then a little bit of Elite Dangerous on the side. And the idea is to sort of link all this together with some knobhead wearing a box on his face in the middle, which would be me. I decided to go with the McLaren because it's a car that I drive in Assetto Corsa Competizione, and I absolutely love it. So it's something that's very familiar to me, and I really like them in real life as well. I wouldn't say that it's like a dream car, but it's certainly something I really admire. And another series that I've really loved over the years of motorsport is Le Mans, and LMP1 cars fascinate me. They're just brilliant. So I thought these two next to each other would be a pretty cool thing to include in this graphic to sort of represent what I like to do with this channel. Of course, there's all sorts of a motorsport series that I really enjoy, and sim racing gives us the option to try them all, but I've got a limited space here, so I've picked up these two, and that's what I'm going to draw in there. My McLaren looks a little bit wonky, but I'm not an amazing artist. There's some guys out there who are absolutely freaking unbelievable. They can get stuff so accurate, it's unbelievable, but I don't have that ability. I am using reference images. I've got another screen with a load of reference images on there. I've got some McLarens and some LMP1s and a couple of Spitfires and stuff, just so that I can get the details right. But as well as that, it's not about getting all of the detail in, it's just about representing them enough, in a sort of comic book type way. And over here then is an Eagle, which is one of my favorite ships in Elite Dangerous. Now I've got all sorts of ships in Elite, but this Eagle I've had since the beginning, and I absolutely love it. It's been modified to within an inch of its life. It's so overly modified that if you hit the boost, it'll explode. And there's my cat, get lost cat. If you hit the boost, it'll explode. If you fire the weapons for too long, it'll explode. It's just thoroughly good fun to fly. I've named it Hot Chick for that reason. It just catches fire whatever you do, but it is extremely fast, extremely maneuverable, and it packs more punch than its weapon sizes allow. So I was going to depict it in a little space scene with some ice asteroids and a planet in the background there, because I used to love flying it around in ice fields. And as the Spitfires, well, I love Spitfires. They're just beautiful aircraft, aren't they? And I know there's probably no, or not really any flight sims around at the moment where you can actually fly them in VR. I don't know. Haven't really got much flight sim experience, but it's something that I intend to get into. So this is the phase of the image where I start putting color down, and this will start looking a bit gammy because it's kind of the base color. So this is the color that everything would be if there was no exterior light sources affecting them. This is my process. I mean, some people will just come in and start drawing in the color schemes as they're being lit, which I really admire, but I don't have the ability to do that. So I start with the base colors, and then I apply other coloring over the top for lighting and shadow and highlights and that sort of stuff. So it's going to look a bit dodgy for a little while until I get to that stage. But at this point, I'm just painting in the liveries. And again, I'm keeping it simple. I'm not going nuts. I'm not going to put advertisements all over there, because it's all, it gets quite complicated. And this is ultimately quite a low resolution image, so I don't have a hell of a lot of pixels to play with. But likewise with the Spitfires here, just painting in what's essentially the livery. Got the camo on there and the roundels. And the same with the Eagle. This also had a custom paint job because it liked to set itself on fire. I put a flame paint job on it. It seemed appropriate. So I'm representing that here as well. And this was a really interesting ship to draw, actually, because it's so faceted. There's so much detail on it, and to figure out whereabouts I want to stop with the detail was a real kind of thing. I've got this tendency to just keep on adding detail until it's too much. I never know when to stop. But yeah, drawing in the racetrack stuff now. I'm starting to use the smudge tool here just to give a sensation of speed on the curbs and on the grass in the background. Add some sort of tire marks on the racetrack. Give everything a little bit of texture, basically. And then get some sky stuff in. So I wanted to represent a kind of a light source in the middle, sort of coming from where my drawn avatar is, and have everything coming out there. So the cars are facing away from me, and the planes are facing away from me, and the Eagle's facing away from me. So it's all it's all heading out of the center, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Just adding in some contrast here to get the effect of the ice planet and get the color in for the engines of the Eagle. And it was quite a difficult blend there to try and figure out how I wanted to blend the space scene into the sky scene. So I decided to use the clouds for that. I'm not convinced it worked too well, but it looks all right, I suppose. So here I'm just adding in some highlights. I've got some ring lights on the car, and I want to do these sunbeams around the Spitfires because it kind of reminds me of the World War II style artwork. I'm not sure if that's accurate actually, but it's got that kind of 1940s feel, which I sort of liked. A bit of bloom work for headlights and things like that. Now I'm going to put some contrast into my own image, and it's a bit weird drawing yourself actually. It's not something I've ever done before, but it's kind of oddly self-serving really. But it's just it's a very cartoony representation, a bit less cartoony than my last piece of artwork, but it'll do the job, I suppose. There's quite a lot to consider here in terms of highlights and lowlights, but then drawing people is, you've always got that aspect to consider. And I did let my baby loose on the graphics tablet there, and he just smashed the shit out of it, so took him away rather quickly. So now I've done some color grading, just adding a little bit more detail into the cars, and I decided to put a 500 on the McLaren there to represent the subscriber number that spurred this piece of artwork. Get a bit of final detail into the Spitfires there, but they need some propellers, don't they? Otherwise they don't go. And finally the actual name part itself, and I always like to sign my artwork because it's the thing to do, you know. So anyway, I hope you like that. Really, I have got another channel actually with artwork. I don't get a chance to do a lot of artwork because it's very time consuming, but when I do a drawing or two or whatever, then I tend to throw it over here, so you can check that out if you want to see more stuff like this, which is it's called Jim Creative. I know I should really come up with better names, shouldn't I? But yep, go and have a look at that. There's a few time lapses like this on there, and there you go. So that's the finished thing. Hope you like it. If you got any comments for me, then stick them down below, and if you haven't subscribed already, then please do so, because I want to get to 1,000 next. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, where I will be back in my racing rig and doing some probably Automobilista too. Catch you then. Ta-da.